In this Tech Byte, we're going to explore how you can change a term grade in the teacher portal.
Doesn't the gradebook calculate the term grades automatically?
It does.
So why would you want to do that?
Well, for example, if a teacher wants to give extra credit or take away extra credit for something like class participation where they don't necessarily have a category set up for.
So why would they do that?
Well, for example, if a teacher wanted to give or take away extra credit for class participation, they can add that into the term average.
Can we look at it in the teacher portal?
Yes, we can. Right here. So let me log into the teacher portal. Now, to enter in a term grade for a term that is open, we're going to click on Gradebook, Assign Grades, and Final Grade Entry. We're going to select the marking period. We're in quarter 2 right now, so that's what I'm going to select. And here is my geometry class roster. You need to make sure that you are in the correct course. And we are going to change Vincent's grade from a 95 to a 90. He hasn't been participating well in his class. And we are also going to lock the grade. By locking the grade, if I go in and add more assignments to Vincent's gradebook, then that's going to recalculate his grade. And I really want to keep it as a 90 right now for my purposes. Oh, let's go back to the summary regrid and see what that looks like. So here we can see Vincent, and we can see his calculated average, which was a 95, and now his locked average that we entered in is a 90. So the locked grade is his current grade, and it is listed in red.
Is it possible to change a grade after the term is closed?
Yes, it is, but to do that you need to contact your MMS administrator because there's some work that needs to be done in the admin portal. Let's take a look at how that process would work. So I'm going to switch browsers and go to my administrative portal. And once we're in there, we're going to go to Gradebook, Admin Functions, and Grant or Remove Override Privileges. Now this is something that I tend to forget and mess up on, is you need to make sure that you are filtered on the school that you want to grant the override for. So I defaulted to my middle school. I'm going to change that back to my high school. I need to select the term that I want to grant the override for, and that will be quarter 1. So I have quarter 1 selected. I'm going to click on the arrow. I have quarter 1 selected, and I'm going to set an expiration date. So I'm going to give my teacher a couple of days to go in and enter in that override.
That's great. That's one less thing that the school has to remember to do, to remove that.
Yes, it is. So now all I have to do is select my teacher, which is right here, and then assign the privilege. And this is just a warning message from MMS asking me if I do want to assign this privilege, and I do. And if I scroll back down, you can see that we have a quarter 1 override, and it will expire on January 9th. Now I'm going to go back to our teacher portal, and there's another step that the teacher has to do. He has to select the students that they need to give an override for. So that is done through Gradebook, Gradebook Operations, and the function of Assign, Remove, Grade Override. So I am still in my geometry class, and I am going to grant an override for Nicole. So all I have to do is check that box, and I can check as many students that I need to do an override for, and we actually have 2 options of selecting to submit the changes. So I'm going to submit changes, and I can see here that a red message has been displayed that Nicole, the grades for Nicole Ambrose in marking period quarter 1 can now be overridden.
So where do we go after that?
So there we go back into Gradebook, Assign Grades. We're not going to select Final Grade Entry this time, but we are going to select Override Past Marking Period Average. And we're going to select the override, the term for the override, which is quarter one, and that's the only one I have available to me. And the only student I'm going to see is Nicole, because that's the only one that this teacher gave an override to. So I'm going to change her grade from an 83 to a 95, and again I'm going to lock that grade. So let's go back to the summary grid and take a look at how Nicole's quarter one average looks. So I can see here we have our quarter one. We defaulted right to our quarter one, which is our closed term, and I can see that Nicole has had a calculated average of 83.33 and that we assigned an override grade of 95.
That's great. Thanks so much for the help.
You're welcome.